Warning. The following broadcast features thoughts, ideas, and opinions you might find offensive. If you're easily angered, insulted, hurt, provoked, outraged, or annoyed, the following may offend you. The views expressed in this show are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of YouTube or Google. So please, don't flag this video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey guys, welcome back to Does This Offend You?
Welcome. Hi guys. Hey everyone. Hey Daniel. Hey Megan.
Hi.
Hey Glenn. Hey Madison.
Anna,
Mariel,
who was the very first one here. You were definitely not late.
Hey Angie.
Hello, Rob.
Hey Summer. My friend Bubba.
Hi. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Our theme today is lesbians running through the woods. So we are in the woods. That was the connecting factor, if you guys didn't know, on these movies. Welcome. If this is, I don't think this is anybody's first time here, but if there's any lurkers.
We don't know. What the heck? You can see them all.
Well, I can see everybody in the chat.
That's a wild statement.
I just
every single one of
assumed.
you.
It could be. This is Does This Offend You? And it's just a clever title. We just talk about controversial and potentially like offensive topics in like horror and thriller movies. And yeah, we dissect the shit out of them. Emma keeps freezing.
Yeah, I'm having a look.
Huh.
I'm not seeing it on my end.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm playing back the video.
Huh.
I played back the video on the. It's not. Let me know if that's for anyone else, but it's playing back fine for me on YouTube.
Okay. That's also
Maybe
a theme.
refresh.
That's also a theme with us too. Sometimes technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's the theme on the internet. It freezes,
That
but for a few seconds. That's so
what
weird.
The heck? I'm not noticing it at all.
Me either.
Weird. Yeah,
It's not freezing for me.
Mm-mm.
Oh, actually, it is.
Oh.
The heck? Okay,
The heck?
standard. I mean, I'm in standard def. Do you want me? I'll lower my definition.
Huh?
Blah 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 blah. Am I moving?
I mean, it's up to you if you think it'll help, but I don't see it on mine. It's weird.
Am I still freezing? I think it's not freezing anymore that I can see. Okay, I don't know. We'll just keep going.
Okay.
That's really weird.
It's not decent. It's someone freezing. We've had a lot of technical difficulties, but
okay. Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a
okay.
new one.
Yeah. Because just like, it must just be on YouTube or something. Because when I'm like me just looking at you on YouTube, you're not freezing at all.
Maybe it was just like 1 second glitch and now it's back to. Anyway.
Who knows?
There's a glitch. That's my glitch. There's an actual person in the room with me.
That's the glitch. There's a man here.
Okay. He turned around. It's scary.
Okay. Anyways.
Carry on.
I don't even remember what I was saying.
Okay. If you haven't been here before, this is
Yeah.
Doesn't Offend You. We talk about spoilers. So just, I guess that is a forewarning for that.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about 2 films, High Tension and What Keeps You Alive. Both Canadian?
Oh,
Is What Keeps You Alive Canadian?
that is Canadian.
Well, yeah, High Tension is.
Oh.
Right? Sorry.
Okay. Is that where it was made? I didn't know. I mean, I know it's a French film, but I didn't know if it was made in Canada.
Oh my god, now I'm gonna eat my words. Don't come for me, guys. French, Italian, English, that's not helping me. Is it?
It could very well be. There's a whole population of Canada that speaks French. What do I know?
It's French. It's definitely French. Never mind. I'm mixing up my French extremity films. So.
That's not that bad of a reach. It could have very well.
No.
You never know. Also, content warning for these. It's hard. Like with Does This Offend You? It's kind of just for anything you could probably think of. We're most likely going to talk about it. So, and then as Emma said, if you haven't seen either of these films and you plan on it, spoilers ahead. Massive spoilers, especially for High Tension. High Tension has a pretty insane twist.
Yeah, they both have twists, but yeah. Does it have a unique twist? We'll see. We will talk. We'll discuss. That's going to be the interesting part.
By the way, I can speak French. Yeah, we remember Marielle. We all remember.
Yeah, we'll get you to translate the final twist in these films, and then we'll see. If anyone doesn't know, we had a little hiccup when we did Martyrs.
That's so good.
Talking about French Canadian films. That one is, right?
I don't know now.
Sure. Yes, thank you. It's a co-production of France and Canada. So I'm assuming that makes it French Canadian anyway. Yeah. But yes. But if you know the final, just to let people in on the joke, if you know the final scene in that film, it was translated to something else by someone who should not be named in the chat right now, who's just called themselves out, and it was untrue.
It was so funny though. We were all so shocked for like a whole 10 minutes.
Thought we had cracked the Da Vinci Code or something.
Yeah.
And then we realized we haven't.
We haven't.
I wonder who. No. I don't know. We still don't know till this day who said anything about anything.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of Justice lore for everyone out there. So if we can figure out who it was.
Let us know.
Let us know. Okay, so where do we want to start?
We're off to a flying start. I swear we're usually more on the ball, but actually, that's my fault. Okay. We can do a poll. Do you want me to do the poll quickly?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, can I do the poll?
Wait, I don't know.
Maybe I can't. Am I a mod? Because I can't. Oh, maybe you can't. You have to change the settings so mods can do it. So I think you have to do it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all good. Alrighty.
So the two films distraction did it. The two films we're talking about today, I hope that most people in here had seen them before. Is there anyone who hasn't seen these films before? And is there anyone, I know there's one person here at least who rewatched them in anticipation for this episode. I know Glenn, you were probably horrified, and we're sorry for disturbing you with High Tension. We got it in my Discord. We got a reaction of Glenn watching for the first
really?
time. Just his face. A selfie.
Oh goodness. At what part was this?
I don't know.
Taken?
That is the question. It was a shocked face, as you can imagine.
Okay.
Yeah. I hadn't seen either of them before. Oh really? Wow.
Ooh. And you watched both today in one day? Goodness. I feel for you.
I have seen High Tension, but never saw the other one. I'm fine with spoilers.
Okay.
A lot of people haven't seen What Keeps You Alive. I had a really weird moment while watching it because it's from 2018, where I just felt like these more independent horror films we were giving. I like the film, but I feel like there's all these independent horror films we were giving so much more leeway to than I feel like I give now, which is so mean to say. Or maybe they were just so much more unique in their settings. I felt like they were giving independent films so much more of a unique, push. And it was so much more exciting when they got to VOD, where I feel like they're all kind of similar sounding now, which is I don't know if it's like a nostalgia factor of me watching more independent stuff because I'm on the community space and doing, not even having my own channel, but just talking to other people online about it and I don't know, it felt like the golden era of all of those like straight to video streaming stuff. Do you know what I mean?
That's
Do you
true.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like it's mostly slowed down, so I'll just go ahead and end it. It's 69% want to start with high tension.
Of course. Of course.
Alrighty, so with that, cool. That's the first time I did a poll on here. Sweet. Love that. Okay. Wow, one that you hadn't heard of, Rob. That's surprising. You're always telling me about movies.
The cracks begin to show. The facade.
Like, you're always telling me about movies. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. All right, so we'll start with High Tension. High Tension came out in 2003 and is directed by Alexander Aja. I never am 100% confident on that. Yeah.
I would have checked. And got it wrong still.
All right, so we're following two friends, Marie and Alex, who are going on a weekend trip to Alex's family home in like the French countryside to study or whatever. So on their first night there, as soon as they get there, a sadistic killer invades the home and murders Alex's entire family and kidnaps Alex. So Marie follows the killer. She like sneaks into his truck and is trying to save Alex. It leads them to like a whole gas station. This guy's murdering people all on the way. And Marie eventually follows him to this like wooded area and supposedly appears to kill the killer when it is revealed in a twist that Marie was the killer the whole time. And we'll get into it, but people had some very strong feelings about this twist.
Strange ending. Yeah.
It is a strange ending. Yeah.
Yeah. Where would you like to start? Should we just talk about that? Like the structure maybe? First?
Yeah, I think we should, because I feel like that's the main thing. Like if you go into any discussion on this, that's what people are talking about. Yeah.
The film is heavily scrutinized for its plot holes. It's always been like this. And a film, even when I put up that I was rewatching it for this, so many people in my inbox saying, I loved it up until the final twist, because the thing that this film has going for it is it's so bloody and gory. And it's known for, you know, like the French, the French standard. But it really takes a turn with that, because there are so many plot holes to do with the perspective that don't make any sense, because they're basically showing you two different viewpoints. Like she goes into a bathroom at one point and she's showing you inside like a bathroom. It like things that you wouldn't know if you were the same person. It's not like a split situation. Do you know what I mean? It's really weird. Or I shouldn't say any other names because there's spoilers for other films, but it's not like something that's cleverly hidden. There is two independent point of views shown constantly. Oh my God, not Wilson. What did he say? Emma knows how much I love. Yes. I know that you...
So a girl kiss another girl.
Never feels like a middle finger. Wilson, you need to calm
down. Thank you for the nightmare review.
Love you, Wilson. Yes, I know that you will... I don't know how to say it politely. Wilson has a thing for lesbian films.
Hey,
and we love that for him.
So do I.
Yeah. We have that in common. All of us here have that in common.
Yep.
Wilson is cackling at home. I know it. There was like we watched a movie together, and someone, Thena, who a friend of ours put out. Do you know there's like the Carrie Bradshaw? Sorry, I'm totally going off topic, believe it or not. There's a Sex and the City meme about them being gay. They're gay.
Oh,
She kept putting that up. Anyway, it's just one of those things that has to be pointed out all the time. Anyway, we love you, Wilson. Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
Yes, it never feels like a middle finger. I'll totally agree with that. I think it's as far from a middle finger than I could ever imagine. So Didn't make that connection. Anyway, so yes, point of views in the film it's not like they're trying to trick you in a clever way. It feels like it's a forced, sudden twist. It's out of nowhere. And it asks you to suspend your belief beyond. Wherein you're already kind of suspending your belief for all of the I guess gore and things like that.
Sure.
But it also asks the audience, and I guess this is the whole freaking idea behind it. Like, why is she doing this? Why do they put this twist in here? And I mean, do you want to get into is it a soapbox moment?
It's kind of a soapbox.
I like the way you put it. So basically, I was thinking, like, did she snap because did she snap because her friend wasn't in love with her?
Mm.
And what kind of message does that send? But I also was concerned with all these plot holes that they're showing her almost her inner split character, or who she sees herself as in this narrative, as this man, this tall, like gross man, like backwoods man. So it's like a very strange, like, I'm like, what does that actually mean? But Vicky put down some really good notes that I think obviously put it together a lot better. Take it away, girly.
Yeah, though 1000% when you wrote that, I'm like, I feel like that's the whole point of the movie, really. At least it's the message is trying to send, like, she does kind of snap because her friend isn't in love with her. The movie very heavily hints that Marie has feelings for Alex in the beginning. They have the conversation at the beginning in the car. They're like talking about like Alex sleeping with another guy or whatever. And Marie definitely sounds like she feels some type of way about it. kind of almost putting Alex down for it a little bit. And I think like later on in the car, they talk about like Marie getting with some guy or something like that. And she kind of like blows it off. Like she's not interested in that conversation. Marie, an interesting thing too is like their closeness. I feel like it's just like a throwaway thing, but like Marie is in a picture that's on like Alex's family like mantelpiece. It's like mentioned like really quickly, which I mean, like, come on, like it's right there. Marie also sees Alex in the shower when she's outside smoking, and then promptly goes inside to masturbate. So I feel like that's the most obvious thing. Of course, like she's at Alex's house, she just saw her naked, and she obviously is attracted to her. We can only assume from what the movie tells us that Alex is straight. You know, she just talks about the one guy or whatever. So the reveal of Marie being the killer kind of makes this like, I guess you could view it partially as like a predatory lesbian moment, kind of pining for the straight friend, and she's upset that Alex won't return her feelings or whatever.
So she kills her whole family.
So she kills her whole family.
Just a normal like reaction that always happens.
Absolutely. But that reveal that you're talking about, like this whole idea that she like sees herself, like I kind of have a theory about the nonsense of the movie, but that's a little bit later. But like her seeing herself as, like you said, like this backwoods, just kind of like big, ugly, like sweaty man. I feel like it's kind of like an accidental, unintentional critique of the male gaze, like when it comes to like queer ladies in movies. So like so many examples of sapphic representation in media is like made by straight men for straight men. So like as the viewer, like even if you're a queer lady or feminine presenting person yourself, you feel a little bit like pervy or gross when you're watching it because of the perspective it's being made from. So it makes for some really conflicted feelings about like how the viewer might be feeling. Like I can relate to this myself, like about liking women, but then also feeling gross when you're like watching it in movies and stuff like that. Cause you're like, just because of the way it's shot. I don't think this was the intent of the movie at all. I think it's kind of like an accidental thing. But I think this could have been like a really strong like exploration of like the male gaze up until the end when Marie is in the hospital room and she like creepily reaches out for Alex, like sensing her presence.
Why would you ever go that? Well, I mean, she was in an asylum, wasn't she? Why would you ever go fucking visit her in a padded cell after what she did to your whole family?
Fucking know.
Just for
I
fun.
hate that
just
part.
To set her off again as well. Like, it's not good for her either.
Yeah, it's like I almost can forgive the movie and be like, he kind of stumbled into this like really interesting critique on like compet, until that moment where it's like he's just kind of like driving the nail in the coffin, like gay women are psycho freaks.
Mm. Did you want to just quickly explain what compet is? Because I didn't know about when I read that in your notes, I like looked up the actual term.
Oh, yes. Okay, sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
chronically
okay.
online, so I just feel like everybody. So compet is just the shortened version of compulsory heterosexuality. So just performing heterosexuality because that's like the norm in society and media, and that's what's portrayed. So a lot of people struggle with that, or you feel like maybe you like men for a while because you're just taught that that's what you're supposed to be doing. So
perfect. Yeah. Barbie dolls.
Barbie dolls.
That's my word association with that. There was something
100%.
talking about the plot holes and like how she sees herself as this man. The thing I cannot get past in this film is it starts with this very intense. I mean, it's kind of bookended with her. You see her feet, and you think that you're like wondering where she is, and then you see at the very end that she's in like a padded cell, and that's but. One of the first scenes you see that there's danger out in this rural countryside manor, wherever they are, is his truck, the killer, his truck, independent of anything starting, independent of her snapping when her feelings aren't returned. He is he is doing sexual acts to a decapitated head, and then he chucks it out the window. And then there's like a line that's meant to be like a play on words about something to do with head. Anyway, the whole thing doesn't make any sense because meanwhile we're meant to imagine that she's in a car, like these two friends are in a car together on the way. So I'm like, is she imagining getting a decapitated head and do you know what I mean? And I don't want to be like it doesn't work that way, but it like she imagining having male genitalia? Well, maybe. Literally. Oh, thank you so much. You'll look up the translation. So yeah. So that's that's an example of the plot not making any sense because it's like, what is she meant to be thinking at that time? And also, when she is masturbating upstairs, that's when the killer's like breaking in. I'm like, is she masturbating thinking about the kill? That's what I'm like. Where is her head at two places at once? Because we've all seen very clever films which hide the fact. Like one of them is one of my favorite films, which the twist is, they're both people at once, and it's been done to death. But this is done in such a sneaky way that they kind of like tack that as a twist because all of these moments don't make any sense. And how can you not come to some wild conclusion or try and draw some, like you said, you don't think it's what the director means, but how can you not try and understand what he was trying to say when he puts those images in your head of her, that's how she thinks, and then you're seeing like this really intense sexual act. So exactly, Summer. So now it's very strange. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But also her in the car why is she thinking about a decapitated head? Like, and being on the side of thing and putting up into it. Do you know? Sorry, YouTube, but do you mean like while she's driving with her friend in the car, like, is she mad before this all happened? I feel like there's so much context missing.
Yeah, I feel like that's the problem too, and I feel like because of the movie starts with her like she's obviously like we find out at the end she's in the padded cell. That's where we see her at the beginning, like she's sitting. So
is she imagining the whole thing in the padded cell?
That's my only explanation to where it maybe almost makes a little bit of sense. Like maybe she's trying to recall the events in her like broken mind.
Yeah,
that's the only way I can. And she's like viewing herself. So she's like viewing herself as the killer, as this gross man, and then also trying to view herself as like the hero of the story, where where she saves Alex,
or like inserting the killer in there in her head. But isn't, you can't make a movie based on a fucking dream.
No, absolutely not. It's just like, that's the only thing I can think of is like maybe that's what he was going for, because
yeah,
the alternative doesn't make sense.
Other films like that where their entire thing is like a lobotomy or whatever. That's like unfortunately, lobotomy film is a big thing too. We should make a letterboxd film group on that collection, because that is like a big twist in films as well. But I didn't feel that as the twist here. The twist felt like they were the same person, because the whole realization is when the detective looks at the security camera and sees that there's only one person. But even in that scene, the gas station, the guy at the gas station is looking at both of them and giving the side eye, and she's meant to be behind. Like, it doesn't make any sense where they're situated and the perspective. Yeah, Megan, you know what I was talking about. There was another one you do love too, Megan. You love another one, but don't say the other one, because the other one is like an actual twist. Actually, this might be, lobotomized film might be your favorite, Megan, I think. I can think of another one that you also love. Who knew? We were screaming for one the whole time. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Free English, yes. True.
Yeah, either way doesn't make sense. That was the only way I could try and like, I was like, maybe that's what he was going for. It still doesn't really work, but
it doesn't. And that's why we have this stream. This is why Does This Offend You exist, because we kind of take it and brush it off, but this is really like diving into those themes and trying to dissect what they could truly mean.
Exactly. Exactly. You had a lot about the
plagiarism.
The plagiarism thing.
So there was a whole controversy with this. The film got into hot water because there's really, you must have read the book then. Did you read the book?
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah. So how do you say the author's name? Dean
Koontz.
Koontz.
Yeah.
It's meant to be really similar to his book Intensity, which is like even the name.
Yep. It's so close.
Which is about a college student, China, who is visiting a family of her friend Laura for the long weekend, and her mental state after being neglected as a child is touched on. I mean, you've read the book, so you know more, but it seems like her friend's house brings something that she's yearned for, family and acceptance, but then a killer suddenly breaks in to the home and kills everyone except for her friend. She ties her up. She's assaulted. Apparently, it's like a pretty brutal, it's a little bit different in that regard. But then they take her to a motorhome and they stop at a gas station. The stories kind of change from here, and there's like this Doberman dog set on the loose, and it doesn't have the same twist from what I can tell. Is that correct?
Not at all, no.
But the author actually said on his website that he was aware of the comparison, but he would not sue because he found the film to be so disgusting and intellectually bankrupt. So he didn't want the association that could come with if he pursued action against the filmmaker. And the director of High Tension was also questioned about this during Sundance, and acknowledged that he had read the novel and he was aware of the similarities, which is wild. Just say, sorry, I don't know her.
Of course he's aware.
That's so wild.
It's eerie how similar it is in the first half of that movie. Like up until they get to like the forest scene is where it diverges.
Yeah. When I was reading that bit,
it's weird how close it is.
I wonder if he read the book. I don't know how long did the book come? Like how long was Intensity out? When did that come out? I
can't remember. I looked it up forever ago. I can't remember how close they were.
It does seem like it's from 1995. It does seem that he just stole the setting and then kind of changed the ending.
But it's just like,
and he probably should have kept it the same, honestly.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's like there's like weird stuff that's similar, like the character like hiding in the closet and watching like a family member get murdered. That's in the book also. It's like little things like that too, where it's like you obviously took it from the book, my guy.
The one thing
there's no like different personality.
Yeah, weird.
It's literally just a guy.
Yeah, it's just the setting then. They should have just kept it the same. But The one thing I will say I really liked about the only thing that kind of tricks you is because her friend is tied up the whole time in the movie and terrified, and you think she's just like overly like traumatized that she just doesn't react to anything her friend is saying to her. Right. But it's basically she's so shit scared of her friend because she's seen her friend do this, and you can just see the terror in her face. And I love watching that back because the first time you just read it as her friend cannot cope and doesn't know what to do, and she's tied up so she can't go anywhere. And her friend's like pulling her around, who's also killing her family at the same time. So I like that read on it where you can't tell the difference between her being in shock and her being scared of her friend. I think that's like the only thing that's done really good in the movie. I mean, I like this movie, don't get me wrong. I rated it 7 out of 10. But more for more for the gore and all of that kind of stuff. But yes,
that's true. It is funny. They copied a whole ass book and still couldn't get it right.
Yeah, I know. They should have just remade the book.
Which I think there is a film remake of an adaptation, I should say, of the book. It might be of the same name.
I've never heard of that.
I think so. I never watched.
Oh, it's a 2-part TV movie. 1997.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I don't know.
I never watched it.
It's got a 7 out of 10. Okay. That's actually that's not bad.
People like Dean Koontz. I don't know.
It's kind of. Do you think I'd like him? Trying to get Vicky to recommend me stuff. Yeah. I could probably read that. That's probably my level.
Honestly. You can read it and then you can give us a comparison. It's just funny to me, his reaction to it, because I'm pretty sure that same author, that man is quoted saying like he does not want to be known as like a horror author. I don't think he likes the genre at all.
Rude. Get out. I hate him already. I'm never going to read his book.
People come into the store and they go to the horror section and they're like, I can't find his books. And I'm like, he's in thrillers. And then I like to tell them that fun fact on the way over. It's like, by the way,
he's asked us to separate them.
This man hates the horror genre. BT dubs.
How would you even separate? Sorry, totally off topic, not me. But how would you actually separate horror and thriller when it comes to books? I guess they come in genre. I guess just like a movie, they would come genred for you by the distribution. Yeah, it's such a weird concept to try and to always have to separate horror and thriller. It's such a weird thing. It's like this has just enough tension that it's not scary. Yeah, so scary that there's not like there is no. I hate it. This whole pigeonholing thing is destroying.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Everything. Anyway, it's hard. Tangent. Me? No. Never.
I was leading the way. I was like,
yeah.
A scene with the little brother. Yeah, the movie is like really brutal. There's a lot of, I know you kind of wrote down some of the other like little things also.
Why did Corey watch it when he was a kid? What do you mean? The kid dying? Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I wrote down some of the brutality. The decapitated head moment. The kid getting killed is obviously crosses a lot of lines, I guess, in horror and thriller. And the movie was also listed as one of Time magazine's top 10 most ridiculously violent films. I would wear that as a badge of honor for sure. It's a lot of carnage. Sorry, what was that?
No, I just love the ridiculously violent.
Yeah,
just like most violent, but just ridiculously violent.
It really is. I forgot how bloody it was. So
yeah, like damn.
Did you have anything else on that one?
No, that was mostly my soapbox there. People got real mad at me I talked about that all that I wrote about that in a video, and men got real mad at me in the comments, and it was really funny. They were telling me like, I watched this movie and I didn't think it was about predatory lesbians at all. And I'm like, you wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
Why would you think that?
Yeah.
It was wild to me. So when we decided on these ones, I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. Like people got
Well, this is the
mad at
perfect
me.
way to delve. Yeah, I don't understand the mad thing. It's like always interesting when you hear other perspectives, whether you got that out of the film or not. Like I don't understand why that would ever be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I also don't understand a lot of things that come out of a lot of commenters now. I don't know. It's always an exciting little journey into the comments.
Yes, it is.
I love it.
But yeah, that was my main soapbox. Did you get everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So now I can officially ask.
I was waiting.
Did this movie offend you?
No. I mean, the bit at the start is a little bit wild. I'm all for disturbing films, so I cannot speak for, but I do think it is a little bit, it's more the plot holes. I would agree with people who scrutinize it for the plot holes. It doesn't make quite sense. I just don't think it's as clever, but I do like the film. I think that the tension in it, the grit, there's so many things I love about this film, aesthetically, but sometimes it's like a bit of a, even though it's so horrific for me to say, it's sort of like a smooth brain film where you just can't think and just watch it, which is a very weird thing to say about that when there's like a decapitated head getting that happen to it. So
right, yeah.
How did you feel?
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I'm not offended by it, and it's, yeah, not my favorite. The plot holes are just kind of, I'm like, okay, I just feel like, maybe we just didn't think that bit through all the way through, but there are elements that are cool to it, but not offensive. Yeah. Not offensive. Okay. Moving on. What keeps you alive? Another Lesbians in the Woods. This one, like Emma said, came out in 2018. I love that was a similarity. This is directed by Colin Minihan. Sorry, man. Follows.
Sorry, Colin. I know you're watching.
Yeah, I know he's lurking somewhere. So we're following a married couple, Jackie and Jules, who are celebrating their 1-year anniversary at Jackie's family cabin, like on a lake in the woods. Jules starts to realize, like, right away that Jackie may have a dark past and may be lying about some things. And when she tries to talk to her about it, Jackie pushes her off a cliff.
Literally,
it's
so funny. She's like, "Hey!" It's like it's out of nowhere. It's really good.
The rest of it's hard to summarize. So there's just like a lot of back and forth going on for those of you that haven't seen it. A lot of running through the woods, Jules trying to escape and failing, and then she like invites some neighbors over for dinner to try and like buy herself time, and then Jackie kills all of them. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of back and forth.
How did she invite neighbors over? It doesn't make any sense. I know a lot of you guys haven't seen it, so it's probably a little bit confusing. It does start gradually. Like her neighbor comes over and basically says something to her, but then calls her a different name in front of her wife. And they've just got married. So it's like this whole thing where you're like, wait, who is she? And it kind of slowly doubts. And she pushes her off a cliff. It does get extreme. But
and then after getting pushed off a cliff, she gets the same boat, rows across the lake to
this play-by-play is killing me.
Row across the lake.
Yeah.
It's nuts. So there's a whole lot of back and forth. Jules trying to escape, failing. Jules eventually gets pushed off the cliff again. But the movie ends with Jules getting the upper hand and killing Jackie. And yeah, this one's hard to. I'm lost.
Yeah,
we both, babe.
Okay. It's a back and forth.
It's hard to.
And it's meant to be the story of like when you marry someone you don't know who they are, and they are an actual psychopath. Like she literally snaps on her to the degree of where she goes like full mask off, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm here to like basically kill you because that's what I do." And the name, or should I get on my soapbox? Because I actually do have a soapbox. So I'm kind of sad that you guys, some of you guys haven't seen it. Hey, Richard. So the connection in these films that I see is that they're both really heavily scrutinized for their twists and believability, because this film, people hate this film because of the choices that the characters make. Because I guess it is so black and white with her being such a psychopath. Like when it's like mask off situation, she turns full psychopath. You realize she's done it to people in the past. You realize that she is just there to like kill her. And yeah. But there is, when I was looking up people's reactions to this on the internet, it's like endless threads about how the main character is unbearable because Jules is her name. She decides to turn back after she, what does she do? She like stabs her with
so
tranquilizer.
Yeah, so Jackie's trying to take her back to the cliff to make it look like, because she has to make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
So she's gonna set it all up again, and then Jules stabs her with the tranquilizer dart.
Yeah.
So she passes out in the woods.
She passes out on like this, on this mountain, and then she basically gets back in the car and drives away. And there's this huge moment where you see her stop and then turn back around. And lots of people hate that because they're like, you're in a car, you've got fuel, like you're going. Like there's nothing stopping you. It's not like a situation where you run out of gas or the car stops working. Right. You don't need her. And she goes back, and it turns into this whole display where at the start of the movie they play this song and they're like, this is our song, which is the weirdest song. It's Silverchair, which I love. I'm Australian. I love Silverchair. But it's what is it? Year 2000, which is like literally about corruption and politicians. I'm like, this is not like, it's our song. And there's so many romantic songs by Silverchair. I just don't get it. Okay, anyway. Love Daniel Johns and will always support him. Anyway, it doesn't make any sense. But she like at the end of the film, she plays it over this loudspeaker to like summon her to be like, I'm back. I didn't leave. Like, come get me kind of thing. And it's like the weirdest freaking thing because she'd just gone through all of this stuff trying to escape this psychopath. And then she's like playing music to get her back. But I think people I know that you were probably on in the same boat as everyone else, if you haven't seen it as well, and maybe if you have, that you didn't like that and it didn't make any sense, but it does actually make sense. I just gave you all the ammunition, and I'm going to tell you why it actually does make sense. So the answer is in the title. So What Keeps You Alive is basically meant to be the story about that Jackie, the bad one, says to Jules, her wife, tells her the story of when she was young. She used to do hunting, and her dad told her only kill what keeps you alive. So only kill what you're going to eat. It's like, about sustainability in hunting. But ultimately, Jules needs to kill Jackie in order to feel safe and truly survive. So she needs to kill her because it's what keeps her alive. And also she realizes that this is a pattern behavior. There is a point where she is given a necklace, and then she finds the other necklaces for her like past wives or like, interests that she has gone and taken there and killed. So she realized it's a pattern behavior, and if she doesn't do anything about it, she might get away again. The reason she needs to turn around and do this whole song and dance is because there needs to be the realization scene. Because if she goes and she stabs her and kills her at that moment, then you won't see the whole actual complete character arc of her getting in and realizing that she can't be passive in this situation. She needs to do something that is against her morals to keep her and other women alive. So that's like the whole point of the film, is that she goes against who she is as a moral, someone who doesn't kill other people, to go back and do something that is ultimately to keep her alive, to survive.
Right.
A lot of people have also connected this to, and this, I think this is a little bit insensitive, but a lot of people have connected this to the reasoning that she goes back might have to do with showing the cycle of abusive relationships. But honestly, the way it's done in this film is so over the top and like pushing her off the cliff. Like I love you, honeymoon, push her off the cliff. So it's not like it's a slow commentary about how people get into these situations and the cycle of abuse with love bombing and going back and forth. It's so intense, and it's like she's literally out there like stabbing her neighbors. Like I don't think it quite works like that, but I do understand that people who may be in that situation might find it cathartic to and relate to certain things, because that's what horror is. There's always going to be little bits of truth that are greatly exaggerated. So I'm inclined to think it doesn't quite work like that, but I do understand why people relate to that aspect of going back, but that's not entirely why she goes back. She goes back because of the realization, and it needs to be shown. So that's my soapbox. Thank you so much.
It was funny watching the chat go while you're on that. So you're pointing out. She's annoying.
What did you want her to do? This Silverchair song really does kill me, though.
Yeah, it's a really odd choice.
They have such beautiful music. Like, oh my god, Daniel Johnson.
Well, obviously, it can't be something like too nice and cute, because she's about to
just in between.
She's a killer. You know what I mean?
Just freaking in between. We don't have to like the fact that it's like a song about like the corrupted like government system. It's so fucking weird.
Well.
It's so
maybe she just feels a certain type of way about the government. I don't know.
They bonded over that, I guess.
Yeah, maybe that's what they bonded over. Thank you. Thank you, Wilson. Thank you. Thank you very much. I've never seen the rebooted show. This is the original.
Yeah. I was hoping. I was like, this is a moment for us all.
Everybody leaves when I say reboot. Like, you're sick. Thank you. I feel like you don't need to do a super chat for all that, but I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much, Alvin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if we want to get into my stuff is a reach. Are we ready for
no. I think we've already passed the point of no return, don't worry. If I say decapitated head one more time.
Which there's none of in this movie.
Yeah, none of this one.
Okay, so I know people have criticisms about this movie too, because it's the setup of it is a little strange, as you could tell from me struggling to like summarize it. But when we jump into the movie, like we're literally jumping right into these two women like showing up at the cabin, and like all of their character development is like mostly kind of like at the end of the movie, which is an interesting choice, but neither here nor there, I guess. I feel like the movie kind of like unintentionally is sending a message. Like, I think it's intended for Jackie's like backstory as to why she's a serial killer and why she's doing this, but it like weirdly could like align and be interpreted, I think, as like a queer backstory as well. Like the story itself is refreshing, and I know you have notes on it and you'll get into it, that it's a lesbian relationship that just is, that's like not the point of the movie. But when it comes, like, there's just some things that it's like, if you took out the serial killer aspect, this could very easily just be like metaphors for a queer story. So like Jackie reveals when she's talking about like why she does this, like why she's doing this, that it's she says it's nature, not nurture. And that's about like, I guess, her being a sociopath or a serial killer, but that could absolutely double as a as a metaphor for like LGBTQ plus analysis. Early in the movie, also Jackie sings this song, like in the lyrics are "There's a demon inside." That's like the main thing she keeps repeating, which again I feel like could be a metaphor for being gay and maybe some internalized homophobia. Like, I think if somebody really wanted to, they could write a whole essay on how Jackie's dealing with internalized homophobia, and that's why she kills all of her wives. I don't know. Just saying. I feel like it's interesting for a movie that it claims that that the gay couple was not really intended.
I think with a slight change of tone and things, like they could definitely take it down that path, and that might be a very interesting film to see in the future, to be honest. But I don't think it quite It's the same here. I'll tell you why, because there's a conversation when they talk about the nature versus nurture thing. She also talks about how she's a psychopath and she doesn't feel how you feel and she doesn't have any feelings or consideration. Like, it's just like she really goes hard on this being the outline of I am a psychopath. I fit the description through this. Like, but I do think that there is a little bit of an alarm bell if that translates to any of her queerness. But
somebody could do it, I'm sure.
I understand that. Yeah, well, I understand that could be like a super interesting pivot if they had remade this in a different style. My question is, I think that this was one of the first, and I don't want to say this lightly because I don't know if I'm missing something. This is one of the first films I saw horror films that had a non-heterosexual couple, and it wasn't a big part of the storyline.
Yeah,
I think obviously there is more probably now in the last couple of years, but I honestly don't think that there was very many like this, that it wasn't a pivotal part of the storyline at all. Like, it never really came up.
Yeah. So, no, I think you're 1,000% right. I think that's why a lot of people, I think, initially like went into it, or like the positive points about the movie is that it has no, like, it really doesn't.
I know. I had the exact same thought, and I went to write that several times in my like Instagram thing, being like, "We chose these for Pride." It's like such bad representation, but this one's a good, like, it's bad representation, but it's a good representation in the fact that they never talk about it at all. It's never a question, even with the neighbor. But actually, I do think, now I'm thinking about it, there is one thing that actually supports your reaching.
Oh.
That she only kills women, but she also killed her friend when she was when they were kids. And that happened to be a woman as well.
Yeah. It's just a reach. I'm not saying I believe that this is true.
Yeah, I know.
But if we're gonna do a reach,
I know. I'm just like, well, I'm just reaching now. I'm just thinking if that was maybe if they did a prequel, then it would be like her first time realizing that she was gay, and that's why she had to her. That is interesting. Because I'm right. I'm right because you realize something that is not even like a prequel. You imagined a prequel that didn't happen.
I love how too the whole thing we're talking about, how like the queerness isn't a plot point, and I is making it.
Yeah. Well,
this is the plot point.
The interesting backstory behind this, guys, is what's gonna really flip you all out. This is wild. Where is it? Me trying to find it. Okay, so the director, he was actually in a relationship with the main chick, Jackie, who's in the film, Brittany Allen. They're a couple at the time of filming. I don't know if they're still a couple. Which is super interesting because he said a few things inspired it. The very first thing, I'm going to be honest, is that Britt and I are a couple. And when we get into little couples disagreements, that's such a funny way of putting it. We would sometimes be like, I just want to kill you right now. Also, red flag, but okay. And this is the real kicker. He initially casted a man for the role of the psychopath. So it was going to be his girlfriend and a dude. So it was going to be like but it was the actor who dropped out of the film. And then they just started, I guess, while it was kind of shelved when they were trying to find a match, he went back to the idea that he had while writing it. And he thought it might be exciting to have the psychopath being a female character and write a iconic psychopath female character. And so kind of the twist would be that she's, that someone so sweet could be so evil. And he said it was a blessing in disguise, but that's how it came together. And he said it felt more fresh and more relevant because of it. So that's interesting. The film wasn't actually intended to be that. So that's probably why it's not really touched on at all. And I guess maybe that's how films should be written in some regard, because obviously a lot of them are personal stories from personal perspectives. Sure. But it's interesting if you had films, or if even like you know, companies that have the means to do open casting like that could pick anyone for a role, and it's regardless of any background. So that would be really interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, instead of choosing someone particular for a particular role, obviously it depends on the film, because you don't want to have certain people playing certain things. That makes no fucking sense. But yeah, I thought it was super, super interesting. Yeah.
If it has no bearing on the story, there's no reason why it can't be. It can't be that way, but yeah. That is interesting. I noticed Summer's comment.
If my partner is about killing me, time to run. Exactly. It's a very... I just don't like when they're like, I don't know. I'm sure maybe couples do say, I want to kill you right now, but I would not.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I've been with my partner for 12 years, and I don't think maybe I have said that. Thing. Have I ever told you that I would want to kill you right now?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
You might have said it in jest.
I just want to kill you right now. I would never say that to you. That's so wild. I would say worse. I don't think I would have said that to you. Do you not think that's strange?
I'm scared now.
Blinking twice now.
now I don't know. Blink twice if you need help, Dean.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a wild thing to say.
He looks scared now.
Yeah, I think he's reading the comments. Okay, you're fine.
Thanks.
Get back to work. Love you. No, I'm good. Thank you. Like, did you want to eat the girls? He's so desensitized to my nonsense. So, I don't know, just from that collective entry onto our statistics, should we tell? It's 000 in Australia, but you know, you're fine. 000. Did you know that, Vicky?
No, I didn't.
That is so wild that you like, yeah. I wonder, in the UK, is it 444? Is it 444? Someone tell me.
411.
411?
I'm pretty sure it's 411.
411?
It's the same.
That's information.
That's information. In the UK, what's the UK?
That's weird.
Is that why people say, what's the 411? Because it's actually information. Oh my fucking God. That makes so much sense. I say that all the time. I had no idea it was a phone number. The funny little quirkies. The quirkies. UK is 999. Okay, there you go.
Oh. Okay. I feel like it should just be the same everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
Just,
but 911 is a bit of a wild one. 000 makes sense.
It says UK should still call 999.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dean's low on the info there.
There we go, Megan. Yep.
To get the movie times, we just have to call the actual theater. Anyway, did we get off topic? Us?
A little bit.
Never.
Yeah, that's not our vibe. We would literally never. Okay. What else haven't we talked about? What have we missed? Oh, I guess I do have another little reach and just like a question. I just find this odd. The end of the movie, just to give context, I feel like I didn't summarize it very well, and we're just like jumping in on this movie. So the way Jules gets the upper hand at the end is Jackie is diabetic. And they do establish this in the movie. So, you know, like early on, we establish that she has her insulin with her or whatever. And Jules replaces it with, I can't remember what, but she replaces it with something you shouldn't inject into your body. And so at the end of the movie, Jackie's feeling like woozy and stuff. So she goes to inject the insulin, and then she finds a video that Jules recorded ahead of time, letting her know what she's done and then like what it's about to do to her. Like it causes causes blood clots.
Sorry. Yeah.
So she tampers with her medicine, but she says like it's like taunting. She's like, you should really pay attention to what you put in your body or something like that. It just felt like weird and kind of like, this is gonna sound weird because Jackie is literally a serial killer, but it just feels cruel in a way that it didn't need to be.
Your cancer is showing. So sensitive.
I don't know. I just found that like weird though. Maybe I was just maybe it is my cancer showing. I don't know. Hydrogen peroxide was it? Okay.
With that, the interesting thing about, I guess, with what you're saying, and also the genders changing in the films, like it's known that women usually poison. Like that's usually the method of killing. And I thought it was weird when I was reading about that. I was like, well, if they used it, like he was talking about, I was reading about women when I read the interview further. He was talking about, I was thinking about how women had, about how people poison people, and if someone had poisoned their partners, their like previous partners. And I always thought that was weird because I was like, so if it was a man and he was poisoning, that's just not usually the idea, unless he's like, I don't really want to say anything too graphic, but unless he's like drugging and stuff. But that it kind of works in the regard that she uses poison like I don't want to say the most passive way to kill someone, but I will. It kind of is.
Okay.
She uses the passive form to do it. So I get that, but you're right. When she does say it, it does seem like it's a little bit of a using her like chronic illness.
It's weird. Where
you should really check about
like,
putting your medication in your body, you fucking idiot.
And also,
what an idiot.
You're such an idiot weakling for having this chronic illness. I hate you. Bye. You
should check about what you're putting in your body, even though you brought your meds that you got from the doctor. Check them. Well, maybe you should check who you fucking married, you fucking weakling. How about that? Maybe you should check out what your song is that you your song with your partner, and it might have some
maybe
clues.
Question that from the jump.
Well, we all exactly. Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, maybe check yourself. Yeah, weird thing to say to someone who's it is.
With a chronic illness, just watch what you put in your body. Okay.
Yeah. Well, she didn't even know where the insulin was when they got there. She had to ask Jules. Like Jules packed it for her. I mean, that's a couple things sometimes they do. You're allowed to do things for each other. Surely, Summer.
You're allowed.
How do you want?
You're allowed to do things. You heard it here first. You're allowed to do things for your partner, you guys.
Whose side are you on? Are you on the survivor's side here, Summer? The passive survivor. I'm getting myself canceled. I love it.
Yeah, I really I didn't realize, like, when I was trying to write it in a way, I'm like, this makes me sound like I'm fully on Jackie's side right now. I don't know.
I think it's fun. I think it's an it was an interesting way because she kind of found her own way to do it in a sneaky way instead of doing it in an obvious way, like the whole metaphor for hunting kind of, you know?
That's true.
No, I'm on the family side. It's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference. Okay, Baba. Love you.
Oh my gosh, it's even infiltrated. Does this offend you?
Oh, yeah. Summer and I are girlfriend and boyfriend now. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I can't explain.
You guys are out of control.
Just call me Julie.
You're out of control.
Julie. I know it is. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, now here it goes. They're starting.
I will do anything to bring it up. Anyway.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Did we have anything else?
I did not.
I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
I did have the question to, I guess, well, maybe while we're thinking about other stuff, we'll have the question to you guys as how different do we think the film would have been if it was a hetero couple? I think it would have been a lot more grisly, to be honest, which is really kind of fucked up to say. But when you think about it, like it did seem like a twist when she pushed her off the cliff. I'm sure it would have been as scary if it was a man, but I just the masculine energy of doing it all, I don't know. It just seems like, and in a sad way, you feel so overpowered. Yeah. And I don't know if that's like, you know, internalized whatever, but it is in a weird way that like, I find it more scary. It's like the whole bear choose the bear? Do you choose
Would a bear push you off a
lesbians
cliff?
or the man that got fired from or left? You know what I mean? Which way would have been less surprising? Maybe, yeah. But then you ask yourself, why is it less surprising? Because it's more likely that a man would do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think the way that I agree with you. Like it would have been like watching it would have been probably a lot more scary, honestly. And that probably is like some internalized kind of.
But is it just maybe
too, that
just,
like it doesn't like just because it's not a hetero couple
Yeah.
doesn't mean there can't be abusive relationships. Like
oh, of course not.
1,000%.
And maybe just what we're more as well used to seeing and statistical, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it aligns with a lot of different things that we see in the media and everything like that. And of
Exactly.
course, not saying that it doesn't, you know, that's something that's dealt equally, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
the vibe, you can't imagine the vibe would just be different, and it's hard to imagine in what ways.
Yeah.
So
Although I do agree with Tana, I think like I don't think the movie. I think a lot of people flocked to this movie to watch it because it was a queer couple. I think I don't think it would have stood out as much, and I kind of agree.
Maybe not as memorable.
Yeah, which I guess is that's just something to speak to the representation. I guess that.
And there's something like interesting about with what he was saying about seeing a psychopath who was a woman in the film. And having like a final girl and a final psychopath. You know, like there is something interesting about a dynamic we don't see very often. So it definitely wouldn't have stood out. It would have fell to the wayside as another film about a psycho man chasing a woman.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it just would have been not as interesting, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But did this movie offend you?
No. I like this movie. I actually think it's kind of cool. I really do like the turnaround, the U-turn moment. I like it. I think that it's actually pretty clear cut. I like the idea of one of the only films where the name of the film actually makes sense to what's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of times if they try and do a saying within the title, it doesn't quite compute. But it has like such, you think it means this, then you think it means that, and then it turns into a final meaning. So I find the filmmaker's intent, which is usually what I go off, is pretty spot on. I think that they achieved what they were trying to their intention. And I do think that people have problems with it because of whenever someone falls off a cliff in a film, people always have an issue. But like in other
people,
I mean in a movie, Revenge. I mean, it's basically it happens within the first 3 minutes. Like people always have issues with things like that, but it's always so believable in action films. But if they do it in a horror movie and it seems to be like a woman who's done it and then survived, it always seems to be a bigger problem. But you know, like men can like fall off buildings, do whatever in action films, and it's like completely plausible. And we're walking into like watching a horror movie, not like some serious drama where you're meant to believe it's based off truth. So I do think that people need to give it a little bit more breathing space for that. And there was a lot of talk about why she would survive and why she would keep going back and how, but they do talk about her stitches and all that kind of stuff, and they discuss it. I don't know. People have have you seen 127 Hours, my God? That is based on a true story. If you just did not believe that, I don't know what to say to you. You know what I mean? Watch that movie and then tell me that any of this is not believable.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
True that. I'm trying to see. I put up while you were doing that, I put up a poll. I did put up a poll, guys.
Oh,
wow. Just for which one is more offensive.
Oh, okay. Oh, what is more offensive?
Right now, High Tension by 100%.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, What Keeps You Alive isn't really. They don't go too far into her she talks about being a psychopath, but they don't really go too far into anything that it could be deemed offensive with context to how she says it's like nature. No, you know what I mean? Like she kind of just says, I'm like this. And that's it. There's no background information. I have no feelings about
I was born this way.
Yeah. She says it's not personal. You're just next in line.
Yeah.
Whereas high tension is, I mean, anything that has that kind of sexual, like that doesn't really happen in What Keeps You Alive. There's no assault like that. I mean, there is assault, but no like sexual assault and stuff
violence,
like that. Yeah, that's the better word. And no kids being, so you know.
Yep. Also that
people don't like that.
Crazy people don't like that. It's weird.
Yeah, there is. I don't, Megan. I don't want to say I can't confirm nor deny if there is a fall, but they are up on the top of the tower. Have you seen that movie?
No, because
really, I think it's good. Yeah, it's meant to.
I don't like
it's meant to like fuck with your. Yeah, it's cool. It's just a tension. The end is pretty wild, unbelievable, I would say, but it's not literally them falling the whole time. I'll tell you that much. It's them trying not to fall. So it's kind of the opposite.
I just hate I don't like the feeling of it's like all those videos of those crazy people that climb on and stuff, you know, and it is like that feeling like you get in the pit of your stomach. I hate it.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Oh, it's intended to do that. Would you put in the horror or the thriller section? Is it scary or is it tension? We don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I'd have to watch it to really decide. But
Oh, Frozen and Fall. I do like that. I'm going to put on the list. Have we not done Frozen?
We might have done. I honestly, you know what? I'm not going to answer because I feel like I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gave everyone the wrong film except for 1 point as well this month. I'm putting it on there. Or we could do an underwater one and Fall as well.
Yeah,
like one of those ones like Cage 37 or whatever. I'm definitely putting two films together there.
Okay.
One's they're in the cage and they're 37 meters down, not when the cage is called 37. But is that my dyslexia or ADHD? You decide.
Okay. It went for 100% high tension.
47 meters down. Thank you.
Yeah. A third or fourth option.
Buried.
It's just for fun, Richard.
I don't think Buried is. I mean, none of these ones we're bringing up are that really controversial. That's the thing. We keep picking films because of the themes, and then they're like, these ones are a good mix, I think, of having interesting subjects in it. So
I agree.
We will see. But thanks, everyone. That was a great one.
Yeah. Thank you so much for. Thank you, Wilson.
Just wanted to be first to make it.
Frozen, I didn't know you did Disney films.
We could do Disney films. Hunchback of Notre Dame is fucking scary.
Dude, that movie goes so hard. I love the music and Hunchback.
Oh my god, that could be that actually. Do you wanna? Oh, that would be because there's controversy in that film with like the priest and like the whole idea of like
so funny if we do
the ending, like the whole message behind it, like he's friend zoned. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, well, all of
our
our patrons will get to stay tuned for this conversation where we discuss maybe doing Disney movies, question mark, for Does This Offend You?
True.
I don't know. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the nightmare fuel. It's much appreciated. And thanks for the fun conversation. Thank you for being cool and not getting mad at us for, making reaches. Thank you, Des.
Thanks, Des. It's a safe place on the internet.
Yes, it is, where we can talk about all this weird stuff and it's chill. So next month it'll be on Emma's channel because we alternate. Because I don't know, like Emma said, everyone might be new here. So all of Emma's links are in the description. And so you can keep up to date when the next one will be and what movies we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's it. What do you got going on? What are you working on? What's coming out?
I'm working on my possibly my longest video ever. It was 2 hours. I've cut it down to an hour and a half. Let's see if I can cut it down.
What?
Yeah, it's a tier ranking, and I just
Okay.
I had lots of feelings. I'm gonna try and get. I think it should be able to get down to like under an hour.
Damn.
And we'll see what else happens next week if I can fit another one in. But that's what I'm working on. What did I do this week? I went and saw The Exorcism, which is based on The Exorcist, which is absolutely wild. And that was a wild journey. Please do watch because you'll be very interested if you haven't seen it, guys. I do have some information in there, and it probably will save you some time.
Ooh,
and what else did I do? I can't remember. What else did we watch last week? Oh, Violent Nature. I was so lucky to get my hands on Violent Nature, which is not available here yet. So I was so freaking lucky. And so I know that you guys had thoughts about that. But if you're here, you've probably already seen those videos. And I thank you so much for all your support.
Nice.
That's it. Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I had to get it one more time.
And I'll see you next Twitch for Texas Chainsaw.
Yep, and catch them on Twitch where they only play Texas Chainsaw. Okay. And I'll leave you guys with that. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Endless wave time.